That's the main centerpiece of this Imagineering Pavilion, but there's lots of other smaller models scattered throughout, and we've got to get into this, as the first one is in relation to Villains Land. Now, I thought they were going to save everything for Villains Land for the Experiences Showcase on Saturday night, and I'm sure they will, but we've got something new in relation to Villains Land here, as it's called the Dark Forest, and Disney have these maquettes or models of what they're calling the Dark Forest figures here, and they look to be inspired by the haunted forest that Snow White experiences and, goes through in the 1937 animated classic. And so these kind of twisted and gnarled tree formations here that are the dark forest or the haunted forest with these models will be found within Villains Land. And personally, based upon looking at these models, Piston Peak is going to be right up against Villains Land. They need some sort of transition between Piston Peak and Villains Land, and it would make perfect sense if they used this kind of dark forest as the buffer transition between the two different lands there. So the trees kind of switch and change and they become this kind of haunted forest that you have to travel through to get to Villains Land. I think this would be a perfect entrance to Villains Land. That's just my own personal speculation based upon the arch that you can see here in this model. But maybe that's what we're looking at in terms of a transition between Piston Peak to Villains Land. And then also sticking with Walt Disney World, there's also some maquettes and models of some creatures that will be found within Monstropolis at Hollywood Studios here, such as the two-headed pigeon or this three-eyed squirrel that you can see here on the screen as well. So, these animals and creatures will be found within Monstropolis, which will help bring the whole land to life as well. Then in terms of Encanto, we've got a preview of some of the animatronic animals that will be found within this attraction that's opening next year in 2027. As we can see here, we can see the donkey, the toucan, and the capybara. All will be featured as animatronic figures within this Encanto attraction. There'll be lots of other animals within this attraction as well. And then we've also got these ride vehicle maquettes that show that each ride vehicle will have a slightly different design from each other. So it's as if the casita has constructed these ride vehicles from pieces of furniture found throughout the house. Then, sticking with Tropical Americas and moving over to Indiana Jones, there's a highly detailed and intricate model of the exterior facade of the Mayan temple that will be outside the front and is actually currently under construction. It's kind of being prefabricated backstage at Animal Kingdom at the moment, and then it will be brought in and hoisted into place. And personally, I feel like this is such a big upgrade over the previous Dino Institute exterior facade, and I really do love what they're doing here with Indiana Jones. Moving on over from Avatar at Animal Kingdom to Avatar at Disney California Adventure, we've got confirmation that the Avatar land coming to Disney California Adventure is still very much alive and well, and is the plan for that corner of the park, the Hollywoodland backlot area of the park over there, as we have this extremely detailed avatar model that shows the Cove of the Ancestors from Way of Water and the immense scale that this whole area is actually going to be within Disney California Adventure here. And this Cove of the Ancestors facade is probably hiding a very large show building, if I was to guess here. That's how they do it with Pandora over in Animal Kingdom, and I think they've probably done the same trick here with the Cove of the Ancestors, hiding a big show building here as well. So it's going to be very impressive, this coming to California Adventure. I don't think this is going to happen for a few years because they need to do a lot of the infrastructure stuff with the Disneyland entrance gateway coming into the area, but this is going to be extremely impressive within California Adventure. And then we've also got some ride vehicle maquettes for this attraction as well, which again reinforce what we've been saying for quite a few years now here on the channel, which is that this looks very similar to the Shanghai Pirates of the Caribbean boat ride system from that attraction over there, as again each of these boats can hold up to 30 guests, so 6 rows of 5 guests per row that you can see within this maquette. And then interesting enough, in this photo Imagineering have also included the monorail, as obviously the monorail track does go through that whole area of California Adventure. So it's very interesting that we can now see how that's going to interact with the avatar theming, and it's going to be contained away from it, but you'll be able to see it on the exterior as part of a monorail there. I want to quicken it up and do a rapid fire here. We've got Lion King over at Disneyland Paris. We've got a model of the show scene of the previous piece of artwork that we've seen here, so we can now see it in 3D within this model. And also we've got an example of the log flume for this attraction, confirming again that it's going to be 4 rows of 3 guests per row. Then we've got Carousel of Progress, which was also featured on the pavilion, as we can see a preview of the costumes of what looks to be the 1969 moon landing scene for the Carousel of Progress here. And then we've got Avengers Infinity Defense and Stark Flight Lab. There's a model for that attraction there, which should be opening fairly soon. I reckon in the next year or so that could open, because it's very far along, and we should be learning a lot more about that at the Experiences Showcase as well. Then a surprising one, which I didn't think we were going to get at the Imagineering Pavilion this year, the Avengers attraction in Hong Kong Disneyland. The model of the exterior of this attraction here, and this is very much going to be Tower of Terror in terms of the actual ride system. As you can see, it's a very tall structure, but it is themed fantastically on the outside to this kind of Avengers Tower. And again, the theme I think at the moment within Imagineering is its differentiation between all the different things around the world. So they're adding this kind of unique element to each one of these parks, so you will want to travel around the world to go and experience these different attractions, rather than just cloning everything for all the different parks around the world with that homogenization. Instead, they're adding this differentiation between every different park around the world here. And then also in terms of Coco, they've got a model of a statue for Hector Rivera, which I think is going to be featured within the courtyard for the Coco attraction at California Adventure, since we know from the previously released artwork that the Rivera house has become kind of a museum to Hector and his legacy, and is kind of educating the public about the songs that he wrote and giving him the accolades that he deserves, because obviously all his songs were stolen. So that will probably be featured within the courtyard there, and we'll probably find out more about this on Saturday as well. And then you've also got the new Space Mountain, which is being built at Tokyo Disneyland and opening in 2027, which is now titled Earthrise, and you can see a photo of a model here of the exterior of this Space Mountain.